Hello and welcome everyone to HTMcast. I am Ty, and then we have Mishi, and then we have Hat. That's normal. You should be used to that by now. If this is coming as a surprise to you, well then welcome, because this is probably your first video. But we also have Fang, our friend. Say
Hello.
hi, Fang.
Hi, I'm Fang.
We have him as a guest.
I should also mention this is number 9.
I was about to say, did he forget the number or forget
He
to
doesn't
say
care about the number, okay?
Why do we need to say the number every time? It's more important that we have a friend than a number. Fang's more than just a number, Mishi.
This is episode number 9.
Woo!
Fang cares about professionalism.
So where do we begin?
Sing to me, Tibble. Sing to me.
Oh, news or a feed.
I never get cool
I haven't done that
solos.
in a while.
I know, right?
That bit is I can't mute that.
Alright, so first up, all the Freljord stuff is out. Yay! Are we going to explain it to you? No! There's too much of it.
We already did that.
40 minutes of
We already posted the video like last week.
I watched about 10 minutes of it.
Lysandra got all the reworks. You got the new map. Go watch that video.
We'll link it to you in case you want a really big, in-depth 40-minute explanation of everything that's happening, but yeah.
So Trundle, yeah, he got a huge rework. The main thing that they changed about him was his W, where they took
Tibble.
away the tenacity. Okay,
Go watch the video, Tibble.
fine.
Alright, so along with the Freljord stuff, we have patch notes. We all know how much we love patch notes.
It's the same patch as the Freljord stuff, but yeah, not Freljord related.
We're slow.
So first up is Karma, correct?
Is it?
I believe so.
Sure, why not?
They fixed Draven. That should be mentioned.
I
They broke
I
Draven,
like that
and then they
fixed
fixed
Draven.
him, and that's pretty
You
important.
know, you had a chance to contribute to the list of things we were talking about.
We have a list. You're
Yeah, and
deviating.
all I see on the list is Draven, 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 Draven.
That's all there ever is.
We told Draven not to send us the list.
Well, Tibble, talk about Draven.
They broke him and
Well,
then they fixed
in the
them.
last patch, she asked me to do it, Hat.
I did it better.
In the last patch,
They tried to
broke the
improve
thing,
how the axe lands.
and then they just ruined it.
Yeah, it disrupted
So they
most
just
of
put it back to how it was
Draven
normally.
playing. Which
But
I
they did
like.
fix one thing. It can no longer be thrown like in the middle of impassable terrain.
Thank God, finally.
So one good thing came out of that brokenness. So Karma.
Huge buffs across the board.
I'm excited. I haven't even seen any Karma players since she got reworked, and I'm kind of disappointed about that.
You have damage
swear I
increases.
played
You have
Karma
cooldown
the same game.
decreases.
I
The
played
biggest
Karma
one
with
is that the
Superman.
cooldown reduction on her ult.
Indeed. It now scales down as she levels it rather than flat 45.
That's
Which
nice.
is great. The charge takes too long to build up otherwise.
Indeed.
It'll make it a little bit more useful. Karma's the one where you QR, right?
You
I don't know.
are.
No, she's the one where you RQ.
Yeah.
Or RE. You never
Diana
are
is QR, or Akali is QR.
Wait,
What?
who's the champion that like their ult redoes the other spell they used?
LeBlanc.
Is that LeBlanc?
Yes.
I own LeBlanc.
Yes.
You just played her in an A-Ram.
I know, that's why I was trying to talk about it, but I couldn't remember if it was Karma or LeBlanc because for whatever reason they're the same person in my head.
They're
LeBlanc's
both
not on the
people you
list.
never play.
Yeah, right.
Anywho, Karma buffed massively. Moving on to Nasus. They did stuff to his wither.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
OP.
Pretty much, Wither has always been overpowered. You cast that on an 80 carry, and that 80 carry might as well have been stunned, because they have 5% movement speed and 5% attack speed. They aren't doing anything for like 5 whole seconds, and it's miserable. So they cut the attack speed slow in half. So if you're slowed by Nasus, you can actually fight back. As opposed to earlier, where if he slows you, you can't run away and you can't fight back. And that was a major problem with Nasus. But since Nasus is actually good now, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
I think now it'll just be a little bit longer to die to Nasus if he does use his wither on you.
You still
You still
die,
have to
just not
deny
as long.
Nasus farm and make sure he doesn't turn into this horrible monster god that will wipe you off the face of the earth.
Good
But, I
luck
mean-
with that.
You sound bitter, Tybalt.
No, I love being that Nasus.
All right,
So,
Quinn
they did a
changes.
lot of things to Quinn.
Thank God.
All of them good.
Yeah.
Her Blinding Assault
Oh.
now has a...
Olaf's Reckless Swing can be cast at any health
Tybalt!
value, but will not reduce health below 1.
Read the one below that.
Oh.
Her Q has an ability power ratio now of 0.5.
So they did that so she, for like Baron buff, she gets a little bit more power from that, correct?
That's pretty much what it is.
And her W
Yeah.
now gives her movement speed in addition to attack speed.
I mean, now she can build like Sheen and Triforce, and it'll be really good on her.
Oh yeah,
Well-
Triforce was, that's why they did that for her Q too.
Vault now briefly interrupts the target. So like a mini stun, is that what it means?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's pretty
It'll
much
interrupt
what
channels, possibly.
And they did a
No,
lot.
I
to
don't
her.
think it'll do channels.
But it says interrupts.
Yeah, but it'll be like I can't think of a good champion. Man.
They should clarify that. Like, is that a particular like type of CC or what? An interrupt instead of a stun?
I want to say Draven stand aside.
That's a
Or even
knockback.
stand aside as a knockback and a slow, and one of the best CCs on an AD carry currently.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I hate that spell.
So Quinn's ult had a lot done to it. The cooldown was reduced. The base movement speed was increased at later ranks. The movement speed bonus was increased at. Oh wait. Maximum and base movement speed bonus increased at later ranks, and you can now cast Sky Strike quicker after activating her ult,
Yeah.
Indeed.
which was kind of nice for when you really needed that last bit of burst.
I'm just waiting for them to throw in some bonus resistances to for when you go to Valor and go melee.
But I mean, you can build those resistances as top lane Quinn. Top lane
Yeah,
Quinn
but
is most
people
going to
are gonna
be
play
so
Queen as
amazing
AD.
now.
I want
It
to try
is, I've
top
already
lane
seen
Quinn,
it.
but it'll be
I've already
better.
seen it. It's really strong.
It'll be a little bit better.
They're just going to have to accept the fact that Quinn's not going to be an AD carry, and everybody loves her in mid and top.
Jungle Quinn is best
Man.
Quinn.
I need to
Jungle
try
Quinn,
that.
like, legit.
Dude,
yeah.
that's like the best idea ever.
It is legit because she blinds the jungle mobs.
This is great. We're trying this. Is that
Still
it
say
for
about
Quinn
the
then?
IP?
So Sivir, Tybalt, do you understand Sivir enough for this?
Yes, I love Sivir. Sivir's one of my favorite AD carries.
You never played her.
Her passive is Fleet of Foot, and it was whenever she hit somebody with an auto attack, she would get a small movement speed bonus. So it would be really good for kiting or chasing someone down. But now she gets that movement speed bonus on her auto attacks, as well as her Q and her W.
So that's
So-
Boomerang Blade and Ricochet.
Mm-hmm. So now she's going to be moving incredibly fast, and it will be a lot easier for her to kite people, because she won't have to stop to auto attack. You know, she can just throw out her Boomerang Blade, and she gets a boost of speed. That'll be brilliant.
As soon
Oh,
as she hits
goodness.
with it. I wonder if it applies both ways when it goes out and when it comes back.
It should.
Wow, that'd be nice.
It says, grants the effect when Boomerang Blade hits enemy champions. It's coming back. It's hitting enemy champions.
That's cool. Maybe we'll see some more Sivers after they do the, VU.
I'm pretty sure they're also fixing the
Well, they already
thing
did
where her
VU.
ult makes her stop. Sivir's ult where she gives bonus movement speed to her and all allies.
And attack.
Yeah, it was really dumb for her to stop when she's using an ability to help her catch up with people. So they're giving it the Ringar treatment where she can cast that while moving. So Sivir is going to be exceptionally fantastic at hunting people down.
That's nice.
Which fits her theme, Mistress of the Hunt.
Indeed.
So they did things to Thresh.
Good things?
Thresh,
Here's up here.
thresh, thresh.
Interesting
Let's back
things.
them better.
So Death Sentence is Q. They increased the damage of it at later ranks, but they moved the auto attack passive, where it does more damage the longer you wait after attacking on an auto attack. They moved that to his E, Flay. It's very interesting. Thresh was, I guess, too strong at lower levels because he could just get his Q, and he has all this damage on his Q. So they moved it to his E to make you choose between the two of those.
So you have to choose between leveling up Q for more burst damage nuke, as well as the stun, or you have to choose between Flay, which is the softer CC as well as the extra damage,
And then there's the Spectral Lantern shield as well.
which is just utility.
Yeah, but
It's
shield's
pretty
a
much
shield.
hammering it out that Q for control, W for utility, E for damage.
In addition to the passive being moved, Flay damage has been reduced at later levels, and they have fixed some bugs with it.
There's a lot of bug fixes in this patch.
Well, two of them I'm noticing is Shen's Key Strike and Thresh's passive on lanterns.
Yeah.
Well, when attacking wards, those would be consumed, and they did a huge overhaul where they just pretty much fixed all the abilities from doing that, and I guess these were two that they didn't fix.
Well, Thresh wasn't released when they did that, so
It's true.
yeah. And I thought they did Keystrike back then. It must have slipped through, or something changed since.
Udyr?
Oh dear.
Go ahead, talk about Udyr.
Okay. So they kind of nerfed Udyr without telling us. And this kind of annoyed a lot of people. What you could do was, let's say you're Udyr and you're about to gank somebody. You walk into the bush and you're about to jump out at them. First you would go Tiger Stance to get your passive, so on your next hit you would do this huge damage over time dot. And then you would go into Bear Stance and you would run out and go grab somebody. Because then you would run up to somebody, smack them across the face, and that would apply the Bear Stun as well as the Tiger damage, because you still have the Tiger buff because you did it in that short amount of time. And then you would turn back into Tiger Stance and hit them with the Tiger buff again, dealing so much damage. But now you can only activate the Tiger buff while you're in Tiger Stance. However, where it was like 5 seconds, your next auto attack will apply this buff. Udyr's first auto attack in Tiger Stance will always apply this. He doesn't have to Tiger Stance and hit them in a short amount of time. He can just Tiger Stance and hit them whenever. So it's kind of a trade-off between you can use the Tiger buff whenever, but you can only use it while you're in that stance.
They're
So
doing a
lots of-
lot of changes to Udyr, and I never see Udyrs. I'm so confused.
He's
That's,
strong, but hard to play.
that's the correlation. You don't see these champions until they fix them.
See, you said that about Lee Sin, though, that he was hard to play, and I don't.
He's mechanically hard to play, like Zed is
Yeah.
mechanically hard to play. Once people get the mechanics down, then they play him all the time.
He's difficult to
Because there's
play
so much
and hard
fun.
to master.
Udyr has a lot of problems. Being an auto attack champion that doesn't have a gap closer. Oh my
Reynolds.
god. It's miserable.
He does technically have a gap closer. It's
It's
just
the
not
bear
a very
thing.
good one. By today's
As
standards.
opposed to Irelia, who can jump onto somebody and kill them, Udyr has to walk up to them. Do you know how many miserable, terrible things have happened to me as Udyr as I try to walk up to somebody to kill them?
Well, you're doing
A
it
lot.
fine there. Ghost and
Uh,
Flash.
So then, Zed now?
There's
Zed.
only one left.
I'm not. They did a weird thing with Zed. Apparently he was really good at farming. Like his clear was insane. Is that right?
That's what it made it sound like.
That's what they're saying.
I know he was good at clearing the jungle fast. I played him a couple of times when he was free a couple of weeks ago.
So what they did,
It's quick.
they reduced his living shadow, his W's cooldown at all ranks by like 2 seconds. But in addition to that, his shadow slash, the spinny attack, it does not give living shadow cooldown anymore. When attacking minions, that is. So he can't you can't farm cooldown on minions while you're jungling and use your shadow over and over.
We're just gonna slow his jungle down a fair amount.
But they
Won't be-
also increased how much it reduces the cooldown when attacking champions. So yeah,
They're
there's
just slightly retooling him.
Hmm.
So he's not going to be this awesome wave clearer. He's still going to be really good at clearing minions.
Yeah.
This isn't going to hurt Zed that much.
they nerfed his jungle just barely, and they buffed his encounters with champions just barely.
Yeah. They wanted to be more aggressive in lane. Or at least more
Now-
aggressive early game.
There's the Elixir of Fortitude cost increase, so you can't, start the game with one of those anymore. There's the 5 potion health limit.
Oh yeah, that's finally live now. You can't buy any more than each of the potions. But
Yeah,
I'm
you
more
can
than
buy
5.
5 health potions, 5 mana potions, and you're done.
So no more 8
Um,
potion Kali mid.
13 potion Garen. OP.
Those are the worst.
13 potion Mordekaiser.
No more
With
of that.
Biscuiteer.
Oh, jeez.
Or, yeah. Whatever it's called.
Biscuiteer.
So PBE time?
Yes.
yes.
All right. So first off, I'm pretty sure we talked about it last podcast. So the Taipei assassin skins are finally on the PBE to try out. There's a Shin, Oriana, Mundo, Ezreal, and Nunu one. They're all great. They're all set to be 750 when they release, and they're pretty cool.
And Shen has boomsticks.
Yeah.
Is that what they call them?
Thundersticks.
Whatever you call them.
Raid
He
calls
has
them
them.
Thundersticks.
Ezreal shoots arrows out of a foam finger. Enough said.
And he looks like Neku from
The world ends
World
with you.
Yeah.
because of the headphones on the anime boy. Because there's only like one of those in the entire universe.
Right?
No,
Let's
there's
be
no
honest.
others.
And
Also, Mundo throws trophies.
things with the, yeah.
It's great. You just get chucked with the trophy.
I'm not exactly hyped for the Oriana skin. It
I suppose
doesn't
that's
seem to
one
do
way to
anything,
win it.
Yeah.
But oh well.
It is a 750. Like, you have to understand, like, these skins aren't meant to be amazing.
They're just kind of,
Not
to
anymore
commemorate
after
them.
Price changes.
But I like that we haven't got a skin for her in a while.
Not since the battle one.
And the spiked ball is pretty cool. Like, aesthetically wise.
I'm just waiting for that one Oriana skin that's going to be absolutely amazing.
The one where she's got the hair and the dress.
I don't care what it is, but there's going to be one that's going to be amazing. And I'm going to be like, I waited so long for that,
Pulsefire Oriana wear.
right? That'd be cool.
I still kind of want to see human Oriana.
If they do it right. If they don't do it right, then no thanks.
If they do it right, yes.
Yeah.
So that's the Taipei Assassin skins. Now we got a lot of interesting balance changes.
And keep in mind, all this stuff is tentative and will probably change before this is.
Disclaimer!
Disclaimer!
This shit might not happen.
That's one way of putting it.
So the biggest sort of change, at least in my opinion, because I like these champions, they've changed the mechanics behind Diana and Lux's shields.
Yeah, these are interesting.
For Diana, they reduced the damage her shield does. No, they increased it at lower levels, decreased it later. The damage the shield does, and they reduce both the shield strength and the AP modifier on the shield. However, when Diana procs the shield again after using up the orbs, the shield stacks instead of refreshing.
Which is going to be...
So if you have a little bit of shield left over when
Yeah.
it reactivates, it just gets added on.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's going to make a bigger change in laning than it will for her jungle, I reckon.
Yes.
It'll be a bit easier to burst her down.
So overall, you get more shield. Overall.
Yeah. And it's the same for Lux's Prismatic Barrier.
Less strength, less AP modifier, but stacks, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with this happening for Lux because I already think she's hard enough to kill, but whatever.
Lux the pain. I love her though.
They did weaken the shield quite a bit. Like, it's
Yeah.
down to 110 from 180 at max strength.
Ouch.
And down to 50 from 80 at first rank.
So yeah. It's only a bit stronger overall.
Yeah. And unless it's a support Lux, it's not going to be going past the first 1 or 2 ranks until mid-game at the earliest.
Indeed. So those are two big changes that are related.
So they're doing something really weird with Nunu that I don't completely comprehend yet.
I don't know if I'm excited for that. I like Nunu the way he is, so.
They're trying to... By the looks of it, they're trying to reduce his jungling.
But his consume now heals for less. But it does more damage. And it now gives bonuses if he used Consume on a monster. He doesn't have to eat the monster, he just has to use it on a monster for 2 to 4 minutes. If he nommed on a lizard-type monster, those are the lizards, either the big one or the little ones, or dragon or gnasher, his attacks and spells deal bonus magic damage equal to 1% of the opponent's maximum health. If he nommed on a golem, he gets 10% increased maximum health. If he nommed on a wolf or a wraith, he gets bonus movement speed after killing something for 3 seconds. That one's a bit lame. But, he's gonna get less healing from Consume, but now he's gonna get all these cool little stuff from jungling, which will make him more fun to play, I guess.
It slows
And he
clear
can have
down,
all
definitely.
3 of these buffs on at once.
Yeah.
Keep in mind.
Oh, so they stack?
Yes.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's
Interesting.
nothing to suggest they don't.
I'm reading off Zephyrus's post, so I
I'm reading
believe
off
he
the...
confirmed that they stacked.
Yeah. Control F stack.
Yes. He will be able to have all 3 of them up at once. They also persist through death. So, yes.
Did you want to mention Misfortune's change?
He does not have Misfortune up on here.
I'm reading off the patch notes, so... Misfortune, they modified her W a little bit. They lowered the damage it does on hits, but they let it stack up to 5. And they also updated the tooltip apparently to reflect this better.
Yeah. So the stack
guess
is up to
that's-
5 from 4?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
I guess that's better because she wins really short-term engagements. It's just like she has a lot of burst. Misfortune can burst people down really fast.
Like Tristana.
Indeed. So it's going to reward her more for staying in the fight longer, as opposed to just bursting down half of somebody's health and backing off.
You're having trouble talking today, Tibble?
Yes, I am.
I also personally love Mage Fortune, so...
Uh,
I haven't seen one of
I
those
have
for
not
a
had the
long
pleasure of playing
time.
it yet.
Not since that 1 week where it was popular.
It's kind of rare. But I personally like it. You want to talk about
There's
the...
a cool little thing with Warwick I want to mention.
Okay, go for it.
Apparently, the way Warwick's ult worked, he suppressed himself for 2.1 seconds, and he suppressed his opponent for 1.8 seconds,
What?
meaning he would be suppressed for 0.3 seconds longer than his opponent.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, yeah, I noticed that.
But now he is going to be suppressed 0.3 seconds shorter than his opponent. So his opponent's going to be suppressed 0.3 seconds longer than him.
So they're just
he's gonna
swapping the
use
times, or is it still the 1.8 for his opponent?
It's 1.8 for his opponent, 1.5 for himself.
So they're sort of
Um,
dazed afterwards, basically.
Yes.
Huh.
That'll make it a lot less derpy, which is thankful because Warwick has a lot of derpiness to him.
Yeah.
So Shyvana probably next.
You're going to have to read this one because Zephyrus hasn't mentioned it at all.
That's fine. They did a lot.
Mostly buffs.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I don't know if it's a buff per se. They did a lot to her E. So they
No,
lowered
that's a
the,
buff. That is a buff to her. I used to play a fair bit of Shyvana when she was released. That is a definite buff.
Okay, I'll take your word for it then. They lowered the damage on it at later levels, and instead of the 15% armor reduction, it now applies cinders for 5 seconds. Shyvana's auto attacks against targets with cinder deal 2.5% of their max health as magic damage, and E now passes through all enemies instead of just hitting one.
Which is going to make a
Which
big
was really
change.
silly, honestly.
Yeah.
Dragon Flame Breath stopping when it hits somebody.
Especially in the dragon form with the big AoE version.
Does it go through people in her human form as well?
It just
So,
says
so.
it passes through all enemies in its path.
That would be really nice then. That'll be a huge buff to it then.
Does that
She might
mean?
go-
Sorry,
Oh, go
does
on, go on.
that mean in dragon form she can E and then Q and it applies that on everybody?
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah. Like I said, big buff.
that's pretty cool.
She might be able to lane now instead of just jungling.
to actually have some poke.
Yeah,
You know, just shoot it over the minions and hit somebody.
yeah, exactly.
It's a step forward for Shyvana, as far as I'm concerned. They still need to do a bit more with her.
I can't wait. I love the way she plays. I just wish she was, viable, but I can't wait.
Twisted Fate. His E no longer gives cooldown reduction, and instead they greatly increased how much attack speed it gives him. Up from 3 at minimum, 15 at maximum, to 10 at minimum, 30 at maximum.
Sure. Why not?
To be
That
fair,
is big change.
the cooldown reduction was pretty much negligible, and it's easier to build that than just have it on his E. So now he gets a bunch of attack speed, which he can definitely benefit from.
I didn't even know there was cooldown reduction on the E.
Exactly. And they decreased the channel time on his R, but increased the cooldown by 30 seconds at rank 1 and 25 at rank 2, or 15.
Which was coming, because they've been nerfing all the globals.
Yeah. Except it's
Again.
not,
But they're making it a more reliable escape now.
it's not a global, though.
It's essentially global.
It used to be.
When you can
global.
have Shin, Pantheon, and Twisted Fate in your bot lane as you're getting killed by the enemy AD carry and support, out of nowhere, it's a global. Okay?
They still have to walk into the jungle a bit just to teleport into another lane from
Shen
there.
does
When
it.
you can have 5 people in a place where there was originally 2, it's a global.
I'm not used to Shin's range, so I don't know about that.
Shen's range is true global.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
What else did they do?
They did a really cool thing with Cassiopeia that Mishy's really going to enjoy.
Really?
Oh,
Twin Fangs is now classified as a single target spell for the purposes of item effects. Meaning, every Fang is going to apply... Fang.
On head effects?
No, it's going to apply the full duration of, like, Rylai's Crystal Scepter. It will give you full spell vamp, and it will give you full damage from stuff like Mira Mana if you're building it.
Ooh.
and that's
Right.
the spam skill, isn't it?
So, if you were spamming Twin Fangs on somebody and you had Rylai's Crystal Scepter, it was probably kind of likely that they were going to get away from you because it wasn't you were getting like half the slow, I'm pretty sure. Now you're getting the full slow from Rylai's Crystal Scepter on each and every Fang.
Hell yeah.
That's going to be miserable, but okay.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
And she's going to be throwing W's and Q's at them as well.
Exactly.
Manamune Cast sounds pretty cool. If that's true.
You're going to be building a tier, and Seraph's Embrace doesn't actually do much.
No. Only ever
This is-
see it likes of Anivia.
Just more damage on her E is always good.
I'll take it.
They, interestingly enough, they increased the damage on Varus's Q. The starting damage and the maximum damage at all ranks.
But they lowered the damage on E, which was his more reliable harass.
Yeah.
And the stronger harass, I think. Because the E does magic damage, so in lane, AD carry gets AD carry. The other AD carry is not going to have a lot of magic resist, mostly armor. Because, AD
Yeah.
carry.
I just find it interesting, though, because his Q is already pretty damn strong.
Mm.
His Q hurts. His
Ah.
Q hurts.
It's fairly easy to dodge.
It still hurts.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not complaining. I love Varus, and his Q is one of my favorite things to use, so...
It's
Hey,
definitely one of the
Varus is-
stronger AD carries.
What else have they done? They did stuff to Zac.
Really?
They lowered the damage on his E by a smidge. His slingshot.
Ugh.
At
They
later
redu-
ranks.
Later ranks. They reduced the tenacity on his R.
Got tenacity on his R.
Apparently. He had 75% tenacity, but it's down to 50 now. I guess it's while he's casting, so he can't be interrupted easily.
Yeah.
The tooltip no longer states that enemies hit more than once half damage. What?
I assume that was just correcting a typo.
Okay. That's weird.
That's what
And
that strikes me as.
they actually reduced the damage per bounce by, like, a lot.
Well, he does bounce a lot.
I don't know. I don't feel like he does enough damage to begin with, so I have a lot of trouble with Zac.
more a tank though, isn't he though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
And he does percentage health damage, so
I think he's supposed to be played the way Lee Sin was originally supposed to be played, more as consistent damage and disruption than big upfront damage.
We saw where that got Lee Sin.
Yeah.
Being played as a burst AD mage in mid.
How things change. It's because
season 3.
Are we done with news or I feed yet?
They nerfed Zed's Q when it does damage to additional enemies. They increased the cooldown on his slash by 1 second. And there's some various minor item changes.
Mostly support items. Mana Manipulator reduced the price, now it only goes from 1 fairy charm. Shard of Frozen Ice reduced the cost, the full cost, and the Chaos Crucible, the full cost went up.
They actually did a lot to the Crucible, though.
Yeah.
They increased the cost. It now gives HP per 7 from 0. They doubled the MP per 5. The Activate now heals for 10% max instead of 15% missing.
Which is going to be stronger, I think.
Yes. Like, unless they were like 0 health, then yeah. And now it builds out of a Mana Manipulator and a Philostone instead of a Mana Manipulator, a Philosopher's Stone, and a Mana Crystal. So it doesn't give the mana anymore. That's a pretty big change.
It's a fair trade-off, though. No more bonus mana for the other stuff.
Yeah. So that's it for PBE, and I believe news or a feed.
Yep, I don't think I have anything else to add.
I don't.
Nothing else to add to that section that we completely hijacked and you said almost nothing in.
Well, I didn't get a chance to read through all of the changes and stuff, and a lot of the champions, I don't understand a lot about them unless it's like the 5 that I normally play, so...
Yeah, I wanted to say sorry for hijacking that, but...
We bring you to attract fanboys. If you're not talking, you're not attracting the fanboys.
Well, I
We're not
guess-
getting the free
I guess you'll have to get a new girl.
Maybe we will.
Or
We
you
got
can
Lee.
just use my voice.
I guess we can go ahead and cater that to that crowd. I don't have a problem with it.
So,
Tybalt's Forum lurking! Sorry, just figured we might as well.
So this week on the
Rengar!
forums...
Rengar! They're talking about reworking Rengar!
Yeah, I saw that. Morella
really-
got involved in it.
So Rengar has problems. Mainly, if he's too strong, he's way too strong. And if he's too weak, he's way too weak. And that is the sign of a terribly balanced and terribly made champion. So they need to rework him.
Oh dear. Are there any more?
Vladimir.
Shen.
Well, Vladimir will always have a good late game no matter
Oh,
what. But
fine.
we're getting off track. Sir.
That's great.
So
Elise.
Rengar first comes out.
all carries.
Yeah.
Darius.
The first thing people figure out with him is that if you go full AD at level 1 and then you get 4 ferocity, you can walk up to somebody, Q them twice, and ignite them, and they will die without question. So they nerfed that. But then they found out that AD Rengar was just too weak to do anything. But he had really nice AP ratios, so they played AP Rengar. So they nerfed that. And then they found out that Rengar's heal is stupidly amazing, and that you can just build him pure health, and you will never die. So they nerfed that. So now Rengar has nothing,
Yay.
and they need to rework him.
That was quick. It's been less than a year since he was released.
Indeed.
Yeah, but he's got a
So-
stealth mechanic.
The first thing that they're doing to him is they're making it so his ferocity bonus, where he gets the 5 combo points, and he does a super move, that won't be directly tied to the power of the original move. So you can leave like your Q at level 1 and max your W, and your empowered Q won't suffer because of that, as it would now. So that's something they're going to fix. So his power is going to be a lot more balanced across the board, instead of you dump all your power into one ability and you just abuse the heck out of it.
Yeah.
That really is how it worked, wasn't it? People abused the heck out of his Q, and then they abused the heck out of his W, and then they abused the heck out of his W, but in a different way. Never mind. I'm dumb. His E doesn't do anything.
Slow down.
Don't trip.
Wow, you two are the worst Rengars I've heard.
I don't do
Rengar!
voices. Nor have I ever claimed to do voices.
It's only fun when they run.
And then his
That
ultimate.
wasn't bad.
That was Warwick.
I know.
His ultimate is... People don't like it because there's not any counterplay to it. It's Rengar jumps out of nowhere and kills you, pretty much. And he disappears out of nowhere. So it's either his ultimate is really lame or it's too good.
So they're making it work more like Eve's perma stealth now, aren't they? That's what I read.
I don't
They're
remember
giving
reading
some
that.
warning.
You will have a warning, like Rengar's eye over your head and the visual tone. It will play his vocal thing, where he's like, listen. And so everybody who's in the area or enters the area where Rengar can see them will hear that vocal thing. So everybody will know when he's hunting them.
If
And
they pay
then,
attention.
well, yeah, if they're not paying attention, then they deserve it.
Is he body to listen?
But yeah, if they give it more counterplay, they're going to be able to give the ult a lot more strength, since there's ways to get around it.
Mm.
So yeah, that'll be fun, because I really enjoy playing Rengar, but you either abuse him or you don't play him at all. And that's not a good character, in my opinion.
Don't like Rengar. Kha'Zix for the win.
So I'm going to talk about Sion, but that's a bit longer than what I'm going to talk about with Urgot, so I'm going to mention Urgot first.
Urgot?
Yes.
Are they finally changing him?
No. The news is that they're not changing him.
Okay.
Really?
They may buff him, but Sion needs a complete and total rework. Just
Yes, he does.
ground up, top to bottom. He needs to be a completely different dude. Because right now, he's not interesting, he's not cool, he doesn't do anything, he's really lame, and yeah,
You will be verbally slapped for saying otherwise by a red.
it's true. Sion is boring as a pile of old chocolate that you can't eat anymore. But you don't really want to bother cleaning it up because it's going to be too much work. There's flies on it.
That's a very specific example.
I know,
Thank
right?
you.
Sounds like something that happened to you.
But Urgot is just niche.
Did some chocolate hurt you?
Urgot has
molest
lots of
you as a
interesting
child.
character hooks, and he's got a very interesting personality and play style. Urgot is just niche and doesn't appeal to a wide crowd, but he's really good, and he's very good at what he does. He will always be that scary guy that makes your skin crawl, and that's really good. LoL needs at least one of those people, and they have that in Urgot.
I started really liking Urgot, so I'm glad they're not
He's
doing
fancy.
anything to him.
I love Urgot. They may buff him, but otherwise that's it. They're not going to be completely reworking his character like they need to do with Sion. So now we're going on to Sion. They need to completely
already
rework
were.
his character because he's a dead fish.
Literally.
I thought he was just a dead person.
No, he's a dead fish.
Oh, okay.
It's a dead fish in a dead man suit.
It's a good mistake.
Right now, Sion is stun that guy, activate your shield, hit him a few times with your axe, let the shield explode, back off if he's not dead. There's really nothing to Sion.
I don't even know
He's
what his ult
not
does.
interesting to play. He's not an interesting character. He doesn't do anything.
The passive's useless.
But
I've never once played him, I don't think.
you should try once. It's kind of like Tarek, but without the outrageousness.
Why would I
Well,
want
yeah, that's
that?
'cause
If
it's
Tarek
Tarek.
was boring, that's what it would be.
Why would I want a boring Tarek?
Exactly. Where was I? Oh yeah, but so many tables were flipped in regards to Trundle getting a complete overhaul because people liked the way that Trundle played. And they didn't even change how Trundle played, and a lot of people were upset with what they did with them.
Which is just
So, somebody was suggesting ways of keeping how Scion played while changing Scion's character. And one of the proposals that was made a week ago, wow, I'm slow on this, was that they split Scion into two completely different champions. One, where it was the guy who really was heavily focused on, auto-attacking and life-stealing, and one that had his stun and his shield and was more of that burst kind of guy. So you just took his two playstyles and split them into two separate champions.
I believe
So you had
sense.
Scion, the life stealer, and then this other guy.
I believe the direct quote was, "There is no world in which there are two Scions."
Yep. There is no world where they will take one champion and split them into two, because that's just a waste of resources.
So that kind of got shut down.
But,
it's an interesting idea.
it is an interesting idea, and pretty much in the same post, Morello made it sound like they really want to go down the route of the auto-attack super lifesteal guy.
I think that's what
You know,
Scion
that
was
zombie
originally
tank
supposed
guy
to be.
who will never die as long as he's ripping people limb from limb. That's the kind of thing they want to go for with him.
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to be originally.
And you see what we got.
Yeah, we got something in between that can be both, but neither well.
League needs a good zombie too, and Scion wasn't it.
Mm-hmm. Well, League doesn't have any good undead, quote unquote.
Heck with
I
him.
mean, you have Karthus.
Mordecai
None of
said.
the undead, feel undead, to be perfectly honest.
That's because you're playing as them.
Meh.
So they've got some form of life to them.
Morello also verbally slapped somebody in this thread. That's pretty funny. Well, I got nothing left to say on Scion other than they're not going to do the two Scion solution ever for any champion in the history of forever, but they are looking into very interesting ways of perfecting him. And when I hear, angry zombie who tears people apart to feed off their enzymes, I think Lifestealer from Dota, but we're not going to get into that.
Good.
Is that
It's
it
taking too
for?
long.
I guess I can just mention in passing that the Saul Crushed, the guy who reworked Xin Shao and was going to rework Victor. You know how he was like, "Yeah, guys, it's a true evolution. I'm gonna rework Victor," and then it's a year later. Actually, it is. When did this thread get made? 8/2/2012. What's the 8th month in the year?
August.
August.
August 2012. Yep. So it's
It's only been 8
Getting
months. Cough.
exactly. Well, now he's back on it, and he apologizes, and he's really gonna do right by Victor, because Xin Shao was made super amazing. Xin Shao is fantastic right now, so
Mhm.
I have faith that he'll be able to do the same with Victor.
See in another 8
And
months, Soul
mainly-
Crushed.
Mainly, he's going to keep Victor's unique playstyle and his high skill cap, but they're just gonna fix some of the stuff that he really needs, like
Is passive.
Making the other two
Indeed.
options viable.
Yeah.
and finally fixing his laser for good.
It's about time they get around.
Is that it for Red Posts?
Yes.
Alright.
If you like trains and you like rails, then you're not gonna like this segment. Derailed!
Very beautiful.
So, would you guys like to talk about Iron Man first?
Please. Oh my god, I've been waiting all podcasts to, for one talk and for two to talk about Iron Man.
It was alright.
I
You may talk
loved
as much
it.
as you like then.
Till you get out. You were fired. Oh my god. It was awesome. I loved it. I loved everything they did with it. I don't think I had any
It was okay.
complaints.
So we aren't going
Why
to
didn't-
spoil anything.
I have
We're just-
I have a complaint.
What was your
Why didn't he have the house party sooner? Trying to spoil as little as possible. Why didn't he have the house party sooner?
no idea. I did hear I think it was SourceFed that complained about like there were certain times when it was like, why didn't they do that but sooner? But I don't exactly know what they were referring to. So
I need to watch it again because I sort of missed a lot of it, after a couple of days.
I've got a link here somewhere.
I really liked it though, and I think I'm kind of biased because Iron Man's my favorite person from the whole Marvel universe. So, because oh my god, Tony Stark.
It could just be that all of us did, at least us three, did the marathon beforehand of like all the Iron Man stuff. I did sort of walk out of the movie feeling like I watched a bunch of separate movies.
It did feel a bit loose.
A lot of things happened at that movie.
I do agree with the fact we had a Iron Man marathon when we watched 1, 2, and the Avengers before we went to go see the movie on the opening day. And
I contemplated doing that, but with all the Marvel films.
Oof. There were so many moments where I was like, wow, if I hadn't watched the movies, I would not recognize where that guy was from. And I do like that they put that in there, and I'm just very glad I actually watched it.
Yeah, I love the movie. I have really no complaints about it. I just sort of felt like it was
Okay, I'm going to throw the wrench into the system. They did something with a character that I don't necessarily agree with, but I can see why they did it because there's really no other way they could have done the character.
Is it the person I think you're talking about?
Yeah.
See, that was one of my favorite parts.
All right, then.
Real quick, please, anyone who comments, don't spoil what happens, because I would hate for this to be spoiled. So.
Go watch it. What are you doing? Why are you listening to us? You could have Tony Stark. Jeez.
Yeah, but who would you rather have, Tony Stark or me?
Do you have a suit?
Talk to me in that voice, Fang. you know the voice.
You
I
mean
apologize. But
is this the voice you're talking about?
Yes.
I apologize, but I'm still going to choose Stark.
I know, right? Dude, Robert...
Well, at least tell them to like and subscribe. Ooh, Fang, tell them to like and subscribe in the voice.
Like and subscribe to my personal channel, not this one. You can find it at Connor Parnell.
YouTube.com/Connor Parnell.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right,
Then like and subscribe to the guys who brought him to you. Woo!
We have
You
enough
mean?
subscribers. We're fine. We're done. We can just quit YouTube. We got 100 subscribers. We're
Shut
done.
up,
All 5
That's
of them.
There's really nothing else to YouTube. We've experienced all there is to experience.
Oh my god, I hate YouTube. Just they're retarded.
I do have a suit. I have 2 suits
Okay.
with matching ties.
I do want to say that I absolutely love Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, because
He is the only Tony Stark I will ever accept.
also it is very hard
You
for me to
know-
say Tony Stark because I always call him Tony Snark, and yeah.
30 years from now, when they reboot the Iron Man movies again and they get some other actor to play
I will-
them, I won't accept it. I'll be one of those old people where it's like, oh, Robert Downey Jr. was the only Tony Stark. Get off my lawn.
What if it's me? You know, just hypothetically speaking.
It's just something you're not telling us, Fang. Because I want it.
Now that would be telling.
Yes, Iron Man. Go watch it. We all loved it.
Fantastic.
Next up, Neverwinter.
Oh, we're still doing the podcast. Okay. There's other stuff to talk
Stop
about.
out. Pay attention. Neverwinter, Perfect
Yep.
World's new MMO, free to play, just came out into open beta
On Tuesday of last week, or Wednesday, right? I think it was Tuesday.
Tuesday, I think.
Tuesday sounds right.
So that's open beta. That's free. Go play it. Us three have we are working on videos for it. Those should be up anytime now.
Got 2 up already.
see.
Hey, I've got 2 up already. Hey.
Awesome.
Oh, okay, fine.
Just to
Okay.
clarify, when they say us 3, that's not including me. I'm not.
Yeah,
one of those.
No.
sorry. I'm not used to having a fourth on the podcast.
That's okay. Neither am I.
You can join us for other stuff, if you're not lazy and British.
Different time zone.
So,
What have we all thought about Neverwinter?
I like it, but okay. So first off,
It was okay.
Tibble,
Hate you so much.
I'm very in order for me to enjoy a video game, I have to be enjoying the story. And I have not given 2 fucks about the story so far, and I just like the combat. So the combat's amazing.
It's a very interesting reaction from her. You
Yeah.
would think she'd be the roguey person. No, she went Berserker Warrior.
Dude, it's the best class. Oh my god. Don't even get me started on the ultimates.
Sprint past us, smack somebody across the face with a 2-handed sword, and laugh.
It is the best thing ever. I've never got to experience being something other than an archer, because archer is what I choose to do, and oh my god, it's amazing.
But me and Tybalt are in the prior room, scouting around for resources and stuff, while she's already clearing the next room and screaming for help occasionally.
Most of the time I can
If
handle
she
it.
even needs it. The difficulty is quite low. So we see the boss's health bar up on our screen. He's got the big terrifying name and the huge health bar. It's just getting chunked and chunked and chunked by her alone while we search for scraps.
I think I found a boss. Can I tag it? No, too late. It's
Well,
great.
it's still in beta. They're going to balance it eventually.
I don't care. I love it.
Yes, it's great. We had fun. The combat feels very nice. It runs pretty smoothly on our wonderfully crap computers, at least mine.
Junk. It's junk. It's a pile of junk that can do computations.
Yes, go play that. Go watch your videos. It's free. So
Playing the game or watching the videos?
Oh.
yes. All right, so there's 2 more things, or there's 2 big things on Greenlight I'd like to talk about right now.
Papers,
First-
please.
Papers, Please by Lucas Pope.
If you haven't played this, go play this. It's free. It's got a free open beta. Download it and play it. It's
Oh, I'm
it's a
sold.
great video game.
It's interesting.
It is
got,
a dystopian document thriller. That is a quote from the page.
that's the best thing I've ever heard.
I can just read this paragraph if you want. The communist state of Arstotzka has ended a 6-year war with neighboring Kolechia and reclaimed its rightful half of the border town Grestin. Your job as immigration inspector is to control the flow of people entering from the Arstotzkan sky of Grestin from Kolechia. Among the throngs of immigrants and visitors looking for work are hidden smugglers, spies, and terrorists, using only the documents provided by the travelers and the Ministry of Admission's primitive inspect, search, and fingerprint systems. You must decide who can enter Arstotzka and who will be turned away or arrested.
I flipped out because this dude walked by and I was looking at some document and all of a sudden he committed suicide and blew up guards. And I was like, what? What? It was good. It's good.
So the game
And there was no way you could have known he was a terrorist.
It's very realistic.
no way.
It's very realistic. This dude handed me his passport written in crayon, okay?
It's a wonderful game. It's still in beta, but it has been greenlit. It will be coming to Steam when it is ready. So that's really
Yay!
cool.
I didn't
You
know
can go
that.
It's like Surgeon Simulator, but passport control.
It's Passport Simulator 2013, but in the most non-sarcastic, amazing way ever.
It is so depressing. It is the most depressing game that makes you feel terrible, and it is great. It is wonderful.
I like it. I want to see where the game is going to go, to be honest, is what I'm waiting for.
It's still in beta. He's in working right now. Go play that. Support him. There's actually an interesting thing where you can like have your name entered into the pool of random immigrants.
Really?
Yeah,
That'd be funny.
That's pretty cool.
so you can do that if you want.
Gonna deny
But
myself.
what happens when your name comes up on one of the terrorists?
Um,
I do it,
question
so-
what I've done with my life.
Yeah, right?
so yes, go play that. The other game I'd like to talk about, it's less about the game, but it's on a green light. You can vote for this. This is Game Dev Tycoon by Greenheart Games. Why I say it's less about the game is they did something interesting with this. So Game Dev Tycoon is what it sounds like. It's literally one of those tycoon simulators of game development.
Like with roller coaster.
I remember
The
this.
roller coaster tycoon.
Yes,
that one.
like those games.
I remember
The
this
Zoo
story.
Tycoon.
The big thing about this story is they released it, I think, just recently. And when they released it, they released the version on their page, their site, for $8. And they also released their own torrents disguised as one of those full version crack, whatever, on torrents and whatnot. They put out one of their own of that.
So people could download the game for free.
Yes.
But they made it possible for them to download it for free.
They pirated their own game.
They didn't make it known that they were doing this. And the reason they did this is because this specific version of the game, after a while of in-game time, you would start losing money because all of your games, the software you develop, gets pirated. So eventually your company would go bankrupt because of piracy in the game you pirated. So you had this funny situation where people are on forums across the web asking like, why are my games being pirated? Can I research DRM? The irony. Can you taste it right now?
It was
That's
very
good.
Indeed.
That is.
Because all the
something.
people asking for DRM for their games are pirates.
So yeah, this was an interesting social experiment that you really can't get another opportunity at going for. However, as awesome as this experiment was, there are some pretty depressing results from it. They made a pie chart of after day one sales, because they had a way in the game of tracking like how many people played the legit one versus the cracked one anonymously. After a day, 6.4%, that's 214 people, had paid for the genuine version.
ouch.
And the other, how many people?
Compared to
94%?
93.6%, or 3,104 users.
That's crazy. That many people. So it was almost 100% chance that everyone pirated it.
Yeah. This was after day one. Hopefully they have better sales figures by now, especially after it's gotten the publicity. But yeah, it is a bit sad. But
You know, they had to have known this might have happened going into this.
I'm sure they did.
You have to make the decision, the judgment call, to accept the repercussions for doing something this funny.
They're not like, they specifically say they're not mad about it, and like they're just ask for your support if you liked the game and want to see like a sequel or more work done on it and stuff. So they're pretty cool about it, and they've got this publicity from all of it, which they deserve. It looks like a pretty fun game. Like it's more like an entertaining one where you can make derpy games with stupid names out of different genres and stuff and see how well they do. And they parody all. It starts like in the early games development, like they parody all the things that have happened up until now. Like Ninvento released the TES and stuff like that, and you have the G64 instead of the Commodore 64.
That's funny.
It's got that sort of humor behind it. But yes, that is $8 on their site. It looks good. It'll be on. You can go vote for it on Greenlight now. I don't think it's been greenlit yet. But yeah, that's a fun story that happened.
Yeah, I went to go look for the game on Steam and I didn't see it, and I'm like, well, duh, there's your problem. That's why everyone pirated it.
You can currently get it from their site, or you can go vote for it on Greenlight. $8. I mean, it's go get it. Support them.
Don't pirate it.
That's like £5 if you're British.
So yeah.
Bit less.
Do we have to start converting if we add you onto the show?
Don't worry, I'll do it for you.
Yeah, I was about to say, make him do all the work.
Seriously.
Fahrenheit.
Celsius.
Fahrenheit.
Celsius to Fahrenheit, double it and add 30. Fahrenheit to Celsius, take 30, half it. Doesn't work for negatives.
What in
Silence.
God's name?
Silence.
You're way too smart for this podcast.
Get out.
Ermegerd, Perkirst. Ermegerd, Burnish Purple.
So Minecraft changes?
Yes, the last thing I have to talk about is Minecraft. They've added a couple of new things in their, what are they, pre-release snapshots, whatever they call them. They have interesting things, like they have hardened clay now, which is a new type of aesthetic block you can build out of.
It's 3x3 coal slots. It's equivalent to 72 units of coal if you use it in a furnace.
Yes, the coal
Well,
block.
no, 72 burning increments.
With the introduction of the coal block, they finally have a block storage form of each ore in the game.
Yeah. And it gives us something between coal, charcoal, and a lava bucket for smelting.
So, I mean, an entire one block for 72 uses. It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of other.
Do you get more uses if you use all the coal as the block instead of using it all separately?
It's exactly the same.
If you put
It's-
9 pieces of coal in a furnace and 1 coal block in another furnace, it lasts for the same length of time.
Yeah. The big thing is it's less items to deal with.
Mm.
And there's a couple other like bug fixes and stuff and minor changes that they're pretty vague about. But the biggest other change I noticed was they fixed desert generation so that you no longer have those derpy pools of water scattered about everywhere.
What was wrong with
I
those?
did
They were
find
like
that
oases.
really weird.
I didn't find it weird at all. They were like oases.
The oases are fine. It's just when the entire desert is littered with these derpy pools of water and like the sand is all bugged out around it and stuff. It's a bit weird.
Oh,
So-
those ones.
Yeah.
Those were a little odd, but I like them.
I found them annoying. It's just because I freak out about that kind of weird thing. But yeah, they made deserts more deserty, which is a change I appreciate at least.
I'd like them to make the oases that they had in that one mod that we played, the Primordial Desert.
Yeah,
That was a beautiful desert.
that was pretty neat. Yeah,
That was probably one of my favorite maps ever.
I think they also have the horse stuff a bit more sorted out. You can you can only find you can't like craft saddles or the horse armor. You can only find them in dungeons and stuff.
Which
I think
won't be until 1.6.
Yes, this is all 1.6 pre-release stuff. And they have like I think they put a crafting recipe for the hay bales now.
Yeah, it's a 3x3 wheat.
So yeah, Minecraft is 1.6 is getting stuff done.
Yay!
And I think that's pretty much it for my end.
You wanted to share something, Hat?
Share something?
Your phone?
Oh yeah, I got a new phone, guys. I love this thing so much. It is a Samsung Galaxy S3. And I just
That you've been playing Pokemon on this whole time.
Dude,
Yeah.
he hooked up the one of the Wiimotes to it and was playing Pokemon with the Wiimote through Bluetooth.
I got the emulators working on it. And
I can do that with
Bluetooth.
my really old, what is it? HTC.
The last phone I had was like an old BlackBerry flip phone, which didn't have like a legit OS to it. It had like apps and stuff, but only specific BlackBerry ones.
Ah,
So-
I remember.
So I finally got this amazing Android phone, and I'm having so much fun with it. I love this thing.
I'm definitely stuck between Android and Apple because I've got this hate against
Android.
Apple and I want to go to Android, but everyone has Apple stuff.
It's a very interesting choice, but I just can't tolerate Apple's closed platform.
See, that's the one thing that bugs me too. I don't like not being able to do what I want with my phone.
I'm glad I chose Android. I think I made the right choice personally.
Yes, you did.
So Mishy has a cat. Hat has a new phone.
I didn't.
I need to get something new.
I
and
didn't get to
cool.
talk about Leith yet. You didn't even let me introduce her.
Wow.
I got a cat, guys. A kitten, and I know we were talking about this for a while. I've had her for about a week. She is 2 months old. She is an orange tabby cat, and if you can tell me what her name is a reference to, then you get a hug. Yay! And
What was the name?
A hug from the
Leith,
cat.
Lethe.
So, leaf,
Leith.
beef,
Leaf.
teeth,
Leaf.
quiche.
Yeah, she's the cutest kitty in the world, and she's like, she doesn't get into anything. If Tibble,
She's cross-eyed.
if no one's home with her, she's not cross-eyed. Okay, she's like the tiniest bit cross-eyed. You can't even notice.
Our cat is derpy.
And
Well, it
if
suits you well.
no
I'm
one's
sure you're
home
going to be
with her,
putting
she
tons
just
of
sleeps.
pictures up, right?
Yeah, probably. She's cute. She's a good kitty. So yeah,
By the time they get to this point in the podcast, she'll have put up like 10 different pictures of Leaf.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Instead
Okay.
of putting relevant stuff, there's been nothing but cat pictures for this
I
entire
should do
hour.
that. I'll just dress her up in the outfits of all the champions. So whenever we talk about the champion, it'll just be her in the outfit.
I would love that.
Good thing we didn't talk about Sejuani then.
The new Sejuani or the old Sejuani?
Both.
Either.
And I think that concludes this podcast.
Does it? There's nothing else we want to talk
Maybe my
about.
cat's really cute. I could talk about that for like another hour.
Save it for a different podcast when we don't have anything to talk about. I guess we're done.
Thanks.
Well, thank you, Fang, for joining
been nice
us.
having
It's
you.
been
It was nice
a
to join
pleasure.
you.
An absolute pleasure
Well, thanks for watching,
when I'm
guys.
not talking over
Ta-ra.
you.
Say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, YouTube.
See you later.
Good night.